Dylan Cousins in particular had a couple of great A's in the first period. Claude Giroux had a couple of really good opportunities. Now, both of them actually came back and scored in the second period, so they did come back and score. But
Hey, Gibson played well. Give him credit.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
He played very well.
It was so stark, right? Like Detroit got the saves when they needed them, and
Yes.
Ottawa didn't. I mean, that is the game. We can talk about the other stuff, the offside challenge. Was that, did you agree with it or not? Well, at the end of the day,
The gap in the goaltending was a chasm.
yeah, exactly. So Maryland got pulled after one period, 3 goals on 8 shots, and then we saw the Ottawa debut of Hunter Shepard. Here's was I thought this was very telling. So Hunter Shepard, listen, the guy's I think he's almost 30. He's played before last night 5 NHL games, all with Washington. He was brought in to stabilize or help with the American Hockey League goaltending, but with where things are at for Ottawa, he's up. And last night he gets into the game because Maryland is not playing well. And if you want to talk about a tepid endorsement of a player on your team, here's Travis Green on Hunter Shepard.
What did you think of Hunter Shepard? He doesn't get very many chances to play in the NHL.
Yeah, I was happy for him that he got in the net.
I was happy that he got into the net.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. That was the extent of the answer, by the way. That was not. That was it.
That's not creative editing. It's
No,
not.
no.
That's the answer.
And I don't think that's Coach being honest either. He's happy he got. No, you're not happy. You would have rather Maryland and go the full.
Well, he's happy for the
the
individual.
full 60.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's happy the guy got a chance to play.
But
like there wasn't even a charity line after that of, he got a little bit of NHL experience and we'll see what that means. Anything open-ended. It was just like, I'm happy that he got a chance to play an NHL game. But that is, and I think you made a great point last hour, Lloydie. It's like Travis Green in his comments after the game last night on 2 or 3 different opportunities when asked questions that related to goaltending, essentially is a cry for help to management.
It is.
We cannot continue with this the way it is right now. We don't have it. We will not make the playoffs if things continue with what we have right now, with the options that we have, and with the great unknown that is Linus Ullmark.
And it's not just the coach. Go listen to Tim Stutzle's comments last night. Go listen to Claude Giroux's comments last night as well. It's the same, and this is not unique, right? Usually players reflect everybody sings from the same songbook on hockey teams. You take your cues from what you're being told from your coaching staff, but Claude Giroux's not dumb. Tim Stutzle's not dumb. They know that they come away from that game. It's like, man, we generated a lot. I thought we took it to them. We had a lot of zone time. We had this, we had that, and we're losing games again. So you hear players speak like that. You hear the coach speak like that. You watch the games like we all do. It's the elephant in the room. It's the goaltending it's dead last in the NHL save percentage. And
advanced
stat. Go through
it's all the same,
and just watch the game as well. It's not nearly good enough. Like some nights it is, obviously. Like this team still, they're not dead yet. They're halfway through the season. There's a lot of worry right now, but it's not like this is a dead and buried team here. But it's just the goaltending is just it's not even close to the level of the team play. It's not.
And with the schedule the way that it is, pretty hellacious in the next 3 weeks. 4 games for each of the next 3 weeks, starting with the game last night. Like there's no opportunity right now to sort of let somebody play to get right. First of all, because of where they are in the standings and how tight it is, but just because of the relentlessness of the schedule. Like they've got to get a guy in there, anybody who can just stop the stoppables. And right now, none of the 3 options that are available to them, Marylainen, with all due respect, Hunter Shepard, based on his track record, and Mads Søgaard in Belleville. That again, at this point, I mean, it speaks volumes that Hunter Shepard got called up before Mads Søgaard to play games here in Ottawa when Ullmark got sent down. Now maybe Søgaard comes up and maybe he goes on the road trip and maybe he plays in one of the 2 games coming up. Who knows? But the solution right now is not at hand. With the Ullmark, and even if the Ullmark question as to when he's going to return, if and when that might be, even if it comes shortly, he's back in the lineup shortly. Right now, Marylainen is not giving them good enough goaltending for a team that wants to make the playoffs. He should be in Belleville. He should be playing in Belleville right now. He's still a good prospect. He's 22 or 23, however old he is. I'm not burying this guy. But he's not ready to be the number one guy on a team that wants to and has to make the playoffs. He's not. Full stop. Using one of the words I'm no longer allowed to use.
Yeah, all the kids just tuned out.
Okay.
Oh man.
So, I mean, and again, I'm not being an alarmist here. We can all watch and see. Just look at the reaction of the players when some of these goals are going in, and that tells you everything you need to know. The players know.
Players are always the first to know.
They have to find someone. And I know it's easy to say, go find someone, than it is to do it. But there's got to be something. You've got to try something else.
Doing nothing is not an
The
option.
definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and thinking they're going to get different results or whatever the line is, right? We have 41 games of not Hunter Shepard and not Matt Sogard, but we have 41 games of mediocre goaltending here in Ottawa, even when Ullmark was playing. He was a bit better in December, but it was still it was at best average. You need somebody else in there right now for if and when Ullmark comes back. Can't continue the way it is.
Do you not think, with just back to Hunter Shepard, and you look at Belleville's schedule, they don't have a midweek game this week. They don't play. They got a 3-3 weekend coming up. I don't think the plan was for Hunter Shepard to see a minute of ice time coming up and backing up Marilainen this week. Like, that was emergency break class. All right, starter stinks tonight. You're in, kind of a thing. I wouldn't, I don't know this, but logically, I think the plan probably was this was going to be the backup, and Sogard's coming up anyway. Let's say Marilainen played last night, played great, and they win the game.
Mm-hmm.
I bet you Sogard still comes up for the trip and plays one of the games, because Belleville's not playing at all this week.
And they're right back home on Saturday.
Yeah,
to send
so
there, yeah,
I like
possibility.
That's, to me, at some point today, I would not be surprised at all that we're going to get a news release that Shepard's down and Sogard's up, and that's unless there's this magical trade or acquiring another goaltender in the very, very near future, that Sogard comes up and that's going to be your tandem for the back-to-back. It's just how it's going to be configured, Sogard and Marilainen.
All right, some possible names that many of them have already been talked about, that are either parts of other organizations right now. And again, if you're a team like Ottawa that wants to make the playoffs, you're not going to grab the number one guy. They're not going to give up, in all probability, their number two guy, because this just in, you need to have good goaltending to make the playoffs, and you're going to have trouble getting a number three guy, the sort of tweener type guy that's either a guy that eventually will be an NHL guy or is just a really good American Hockey League goalie that has has some NHL experience as well. The type of guy, quite frankly, that Ottawa should have signed last summer instead of signing Hunter Shepard. And maybe tried to sign. Again, we're not in the room. Maybe they did. And just, came up short to somebody. There's a few examples of guys, veteran guys, who have been out there that ended up elsewhere. They rolled the dice that Ullmark and Marilainen would A, be really good, be a good tandem, and based on what they saw last year, but B, that both of them would be healthy. And as we know here in Ottawa, Steve Staios maybe hasn't been around long enough to know that there's a black cloud over goalies in Ottawa when it comes to health. Nobody seems to be able to play an entire season as the number one guy for whatever reason. For various reasons. Even Craig Anderson, as good as he was, there were some years, unfortunately, some were personal circumstances, but others were
chicken.
Others were frozen. Like, it doesn't even matter what it's not even sometimes. It's guys trying to make a post-game meal at home. Like some of the stuff. Anyway, making light of it, but just based on track record, it's such an important year that you didn't have an in-house, like they could not have. I understood hanging on to Sogard with a year left, even though it was NHL money. There was no. It was ridiculous to suggest they should buy him out or whatever.
There was no value in doing
No, there was zero value in it. And again, he could be one of these guys that develops later in his career or whatever. It was well worth keeping him in the organization and letting him play in Belleville and seeing if he could remain healthy, A, but B, if there's still a goalie there. That still is to right now. Unfortunately, got hurt a bit of this year, but he's played. He's been okay, but not great. So he's he could not you could not have counted on him, I guess is my point, to be the number 3 guy if something happened to 1A or 1B. That was, quite frankly, in retrospect, a mistake. And Hunter Shepard, I think, was a fallback of, now maybe their goaltending scout said this guy's an unpolished diamond that's been in the minors for 7 or 8 years, and he's going to be really good. He's 30 years old. I tend to think, look, the market speaks on somebody that old who's played 4 NHL games, right? This guy's a good American Hockey League goalie and not an NHL goalie. It's come back to bite them. It has.
It kind of feels like quality veteran professional goalie, and that's what he's been. Remember when they signed, and he's an Ottawa guy, remember they signed Danny Taylor, who had been overseas for a bit, and Belleville, and it's like, all right, well, if you're going to make that kind of a signing, usually he's not your first choice or your second choice, but that's the position that you target for injuries. When we have them, we don't think he's going to be the guy, but we're going to need somebody at some point. And right now, does anybody think that guy's Hunter Shepard that's going to come up and all right, Allmark's away from the team. Don't worry, we'll get by because, Marilainen, he's young, but we believe in him. And you know what? We got this veteran guy, and he can give us some games. And it's like, they make you feel warm and fuzzy right now, anybody? It seems now we're at the stage of the goaltending. Remember when they gave Kevin Mandolese a couple starts or a start when he came up? And he played really well. He got that. It was in Long Island, right? He had a great game.
Shutout.
Right?
Have a shutout?
Yeah, a great game.
Yeah.
It was a really nice story. The family drove all night from Montreal and blah, blah, blah. It's just we seem to be at the stage where it's like, yeah, the slap shot line is the answer, Jesus. Like, who's up? Who's Linus is out. Who's up? It's like, we don't know. Right? And it's not like Linus was playing great guns. That's some of the worst numbers in the league.
He's your guy.
Yeah.
You're paying him as your guy. He was going to be the guy for as long as he was healthy and available to the team. And right now he's not, and who knows. But if and when he comes back, he's going to be one of the 2 goalies with the team. I'm just saying right now, the other goalie has to be somebody else.
Yes.
It has to be somebody else. It can't be what it is right now. You again, we can play Travis Green's comments from last night. That is without saying it to management. Please get me somebody. I just need, our team game is more than good enough for us to get back in the playoff race and make the playoffs. Our goaltending is killing us. And it's going to kill the team. It's going to kill the spirit of the team. So anybody that's played hockey knows it, right? It doesn't matter if it's beer league hockey. And with all due respect to all the goalies out there, it's the hardest position to play, right? It's a literally no-win situation. But you got to count on the guy to A, show up, and B, be good, or to be at least average. That's all Ottawa needs right now is even just average goaltending. Just league average.
Well, who's out there, though? Like, what are the possibilities?
Something.
What are the options? And what if that doesn't work out? Whoever they bring in as well.
Let's just try the something. And then let's worry about the what if that doesn't work out, okay, for down the road. The bottom line is you can't continue with what you have right now.
Every team gets to the point where they get to the points where, like, I know it doesn't make total sense, but we got to do something. Why the heck do you think the Edmonton Oilers went out and got Tristan Jarry and made that trade? They're like, we got to do something. Why do you think Colorado last season, they went and got Blackwood and Wedgwood? We got to do something. Like, there are many other examples. There are teams that get to the point where they just know it's not good enough, and it's never going to be a perfect solution. It's like they're looking around. Management's like, you know what? We can't keep doing the same thing, so let's try something else.
So you asked, who are the solutions?
What are some possibilities?
Okay, so the name most mentioned most often of a guy who's got NHL 140. I just looked 140 games of NHL experience is, and if he came here, man, this is another one of these guys, Laurent Brossoit. It's just one of those. I got to say it slowly. It just doesn't flow off the tongue very easily.
No. So for that reason, you don't hope. You hope it's not him. Me too. Yeah, I struggle with that one.
I'm just going to call him LB.
Yeah, exactly. Just call him LB.
Who's starting
for
tonight,
short.
Coach? LB.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
We're going with pounds. I'm gonna
Yeah,
if he comes to town,
perfect.
I get him the nickname Pounds.
All right.
LB Laurent Brossois. Anyway, he's the ready-made solution. His $3 million. Okay, first of all, he was injured all of last year. Chicago signed him 2-year deal, $3.3 million or $3 million per season, and then he got injured, missed all of last year. Then they went out and they acquired Spencer Knight, who's played awesome. He's their number one guy. They got Soderblom, the Swedish guy. He was good. They've got their goalies. And meanwhile, Brossois has been able to get healthy this year to the point where he just returned, about a month or so ago? He's played 6 games in Rockford in the AHL, 338 goals against, 901 save percentage. Again, it's American Hockey League, whatever, but he's playing. He's got 140 games of NHL experience, mainly with Winnipeg, a little bit with Vegas and Edmonton.
Got a Stanley Cup ring.
Yeah, he's a decent goalie who's got experience. He's 32 years old. Again, he's coming off a major injury. No doubt about that. You'd have to get some looks at him. I can't think that the Chicago Blackhawks right now, that is a non-playoff team, really wants to pay a guy $3 million in the minors. So the point being, I don't think the cost would be overly prohibitive for the value that he might bring to the team.
Expiring contract,
right? So again, the Maryland goes to Belleville, finds his game, plays there the rest of the year. If and when Allmark is here, Pounds is your other guy, right?
I love it. We've already made the trade and given him the nickname. This is great.
We got to keep explaining, though, for the time being, what Pounds represents or who represents Pounds.
Okay. And Lloydie has already done the math on the salary cap.
Oh,
so
yeah,
again,
sure.
they can
Careful.
No problem, right?
They can fit him under the
Oh,
cap.
yeah.
It's doable.
Ottawa's got 3 third-round picks in the draft this year. So they don't have a lot of assets. They got 3 third-rounders. I have to assume, again, Chicago, non-playoff team, they'd like probably the number off the books. They'd like an asset in return, but it's not like, are people pounding down their door for Brossois? I don't think so. Maybe there's a bunch of teams like Ottawa that I'm not aware of that would want to roll the dice on
They
this
had to
guy.
waive him to get him to the American League.
Yeah.
So
Steve Stais just came out 3 days ago and said he's confident in the current goaltending situation they have in Ottawa.
That's what he said publicly.
Like, I'm not going to put Steve Stais' feet to the fire on that statement.
Okay.
Because that's what he has to say. It's because goaltending came up a lot in that briefing the other day. So
not just because of the injuries, but because of the season.
Oh, but he acknowledged it. He basically said, when you pieced it all together, the penalty kill and the goaltending, those are the 2 areas, and he's right. Those are the 2 areas that have not been good enough this season for the Ottawa Senators. And so the goaltending, more questions came. It was really fleshed out. But if you're the GM, you have to show confidence in your group. You have to say that. So I know it's easy to say that, I can't believe he really believes that. Do you really believe that Steve Stais really believes that he has that level of belief in his current goaltending?
That's a lot of really believes and believes.
Exactly. Like, come on. Like, Steve Stais is no dummy, but he's not going to sit there and bury guys publicly. He knows. Everybody knows. It's not good enough. You got to figure something else out.
You don't have to bury guys.
But he did.
I'm sure you can find a way to word it differently.
He did.
He couched it.
He said at one point, if we invited the goalies in here,
That's it.
they would even say we haven't been, paraphrasing the words, we haven't performed well enough.
Yeah.
So, that's the old adage of that's the way around of
That's
you saying it yourself
exactly.
by saying they
By
would
the
have said it
players.
themselves if they were here right now.
Yeah.
So Brossois' a guy. If he's not your guy, James Reimer.
Was that a texter?
No,
That's-
James Reimer's name's been out there a lot.
Yeah, and he was at
No,
he
well,
played
Elliot
for Canada
Friedman.
at the Spangler.
Sorry, Elliot Friedman brought it up last week on his 32 Thoughts. After the Spangler Cup, he said multiple teams had checked in with Reimer after he played for Canada at the Spangler Cup. I wonder if Ottawa is one of those multiple teams.
James Reimer, for whatever reason, killed the Sens. And always in Ottawa. So there's something about that building, at least when he wears the other team's uniform, that was really good.